Hi, in today's video we're in the Welsh Hills near Snowdonia Park, and what I want to do is to read a chapter from Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. So this is chapter 28. Nothing occurred during the next 3 or 4 days to make Eleanor regret what she had done in applying to her mother. For Willoughby neither came nor wrote. They were engaged about the end of that time to attend Lady Middleton to a party, from which Mrs. Jennings was kept away by the indisposition of her youngest daughter, and for this party, Marianne, wholly dispirited, careless of her appearance, and seeming equally indifferent whether she went or stayed, prepared without one look of hope or one expression of pleasure. She sat by the drawing-room fire after tea, till the moment of Lady Middleton's arrival, without once stirring from her seat, or altering her attitude, lost in her own thoughts and insensible of her sister's presence. And when at last they were told that Lady Middleton waited for them at the door, she started as if she had forgotten that anyone was expected. They arrived in due time at the place of destination, and as soon as the string of carriages before them would allow, alighted, ascended the stairs, heard their names announced from one landing place to another in an inaudible voice, and entered a room splendidly lit, quite full of company and insufferably hot. When they had paid their tribute of politeness by curtsying in the lady of the house, they were permitted to mingle in the crowd, and take their share of the heat and inconvenience to which their arrival must necessarily add. After some time spent in saying little and doing less, Lady Middleton sat down to casino, and as Marianne was not in spirits for moving about, she and Eleanor, luckily succeeding to chairs, placed themselves at no great distance from the table. They had not remained in this manner long before Eleanor perceived Willoughby, standing within a few yards of them in earnest conversation with a very fashionable, very looking young woman. She soon caught his eye, and he immediately bowed, but without attempting to speak to her or to approach Marianne. He could not but see her, then continued but discourse with the same lady. Eleanor turned involuntarily to Marianne to see whether it could be unobserved by her. At that moment she first perceived him, and her whole countenance glowing with sudden delight. She would have moved towards him instantly, but not her sister caught hold of her. "Good heavens!" she exclaimed. "He is there! He is there! Oh! Why does he not look at me? Why cannot I speak to him?" Pray, he composed, said Eleanor, and he did not betray what you feel to everybody present. Perhaps he has not observed you yet." This, however, was more than she could believe herself, and to be composed at such moment was not only beyond the reach of Marianne, it was beyond her wish. She sat in agony of impatience which affected every feature. At last he turned round again and regarded them both. She started up, and pronouncing his name in a tone of affection, held out her hand to him. He approached, and addressing himself rather to Eleanor than Marianne, as if wishing to avoid her eye, and determined not to observe her attitude, inquired in a hurried manner after Mrs. Dashwood, and asked how long they had been in town. Eleanor was robbed of all presence of mind of such an address, and was unable to say a word, but her feelings of her sister were instantly expressed. Her face was crimsoned over, and she exclaimed in a voice of greatest emotion, "Good God, Willoughby, what is the meaning of this? Have you not received my letters? Will you not shake hands with me?" He could not then avoid it, but her touch seemed painful to him, and he held her hand only for a moment. During all this time he was evidently struggling for composure. Eleanor watched his countenance, and saw its expression becoming more tranquil. After a moment's pause, he spoke with calmness. "I did myself the honour of calling in Berkeley Street last Tuesday, and very much regretted that I was not fortunate enough to find yourselves and Mrs. Jennings at home. My card was not lost, I hope." "But have you not received my notes?" cried Marianne in the wildest anxiety. "Here is some mistake, I am sure. Some dreadful mistake. What can be the meaning of it? Tell me." Willoughby, for heaven's sake tell me, what is the matter?" He made no reply. His complexion changed and all his embarrassment returned, but as if on catching the eye of the young lady with whom he had been previously talking, he felt the necessity of instantly exertion. He recovered himself again, and after saying, "Yes, I had the pleasure of receiving the information, your arrival in town, which were so good as to send me," turning hastily away with a slight bow, and joined his friend. Marianne now looked dreadfully white and unable to stand, sunk into her chair, and Eleanor, expecting every moment to see her faint, tried to screen her from the observation of others while reviving her with lavender water. "Go to him, Eleanor," she cried, but as soon as he could speak, and force him to come to me, "tell him I must see him again, must speak to him instantly. I cannot rest. I shall not have a moment's peace till this is explained, some dreadful misapprehension or other. Oh, go to him this moment." "How can that be done?" "No, my dearest Marianne, you must wait. This is not a place for explanations. Wait only till tomorrow." So it's just a little bit from Sense and Sensibility. Hopefully you can hear that I've got the stream passing to my right hand side here, so it's absolutely lovely here at the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me.